Hello, boys and girls, plebeians, reptilians, whatever you are. Today I want to showcase a gauntlet and bow combo. Note that the basis of this combo is not mine. It was made by Ara, and I'll link his video in the description. However, I did attempt to improve his combo, and hopefully I succeeded. I'll let you decide on that one. So first of all, let's go over his original combo and let's see how he did it, why he did it, and just how efficient it is. So let's see.
Not a chance! Not a chance! Let's go!
I actually messed up the first time. As you can see, it's a pretty good combo, right? You guarantee the hit of Binding Arrow, and then they can't really go anywhere from there. They're pretty much stunned in that place. They can still attack you, but they can't really move. However, I still wasn't satisfied with this. And that's because of two reasons. One, after you hit Binding Arrow, they can actually move, they can react, they can do things. I don't like that. That's the first thing. The second thing, I dislike the part where you have to double tap into knock up with your bow. So let me show you.
Not a chance! Again!
This part. I don't like this part. Because I've had a few occasions where my enemy would get up before I can actually hit them. Or if I did hit them, it was because they couldn't dodge in time. But they still had the chance to get up, they still had the chance to move, they still had the chance to react. So I didn't like that. And I'll go over how I dealt with those issues shortly. First of all, what I did was to make it so that the enemy doesn't touch the ground after I hit them with the Binding Arrow, which is this. Right? It wasn't necessarily difficult, and I'm not sure why Ara himself didn't do this. Maybe Binding Arrow was a slower projectile back then. Maybe... I don't know. He had a reason, I suppose, or maybe he just didn't know. So what I'm trying to say is that yes, you can hit your target with Binding Arrow and still have them up in the air. So I'll show you right now.
Not a chance! Let's go! Ta! Not a chance! Now! Ta! Again!
That raining arrow was a bit off, but as you can see, Binding Arrow hit my target and they were still up in the air. They had no chance to react, they had no chance to escape, and I could go on with my combo to use my second spell of choice, being Raining Arrows or Retaliation, depending on my preferences. You can use any of them. Any of those two works just fine.
I should get going now.
Another thing that I did was to make it so that the target doesn't touch the ground at all as soon as you catch them. Because, as I said earlier, it happened to me that when I was supposed to dash and left click my enemy to knock them up, like this, they would have the chance to move, to escape, and they did escape sometimes. Which is not something we want to do if we do manage to catch them, because it doesn't feel rewarding to catch your enemy in a combo and have them escape midway because of them reaching the ground faster than you, let's say, or your server lagging and you messing up your combo. Because technically, I don't think they should have time to actually get up and run away from you before you get the chance to knock them up with your double tap left click. But it happened, so I had to do something about it, because I don't like my enemies escaping my combos. So what I did was to attempt the same combo with Reckless Charge and see if I can get the enemy to stay up in the air more than me and just take it from there. I didn't have a solid plan. And this is what I ended up with.
It's over!
you can see, the enemy never touched the ground until the very end of the combo, which is expectable, I suppose. So this, in my opinion, is the best I could come up with in terms of this combo. And it actually has something great about it. It has, of course, its cons, but I will show you how to counter said cons shortly. One thing that these combos have an issue with is if you drop them midway, if you drop them after you swap your karma, because that's when you usually drop them. As soon as you swap your karma to bow, that's when you'll usually drop it. So what do I do? Well, the thing is that we can salvage the reckless charge variation of the combo by transitioning into Ara's combo, or rather transitioning into Ara's combo but still using the finisher that I showed you earlier. What I mean by that is, let's say you perform the combo and you mess up when you're supposed to hit your target with the bow before you reach the ground, so you can continue with your left click, right click into knocking them up, right? Let's say you don't actually attack them in the air, you both fall down to the ground at the same time, or around the same time, usually. What do you do then? Well, as I said, you transition it. Let me show you.
I'll show you my power! Now!
Right here. Let's say I messed up right here, right? What happens then? I just knock them up and I go on with my combo like I would normally do if it was started off with another knock-up. So let's see how that looks like.
It's over! Again! Let's go! Not a chance! Now!
As you can see, the combo works just fine if you mess it up and don't hit your target with the bow in the air so that you can reach the ground faster. The only issue with this is, as I said earlier, they have a chance to escape as soon as they hit the ground. It happened to me a few times, but it's still the safest way to go about doing this combo. The best way to perform this combo, I think, in terms of efficiency, is to start it off with any knock-up, being reckless charge, instant chase, or your double tap left click. Just perform it normally, use Ara's variation, and by that I mean let them hit the ground and then double tap left click with your bow. Then you go on with your storming arrows, ability of choice, usually binding arrow, storming arrows again, and then another ability of your choice. That's the safest and the best way, I think, to perform this combo, and it's probably the one you'll use the most, because the other variation requires you to have some height so that it works, and that's only doable with either reckless charge or your right click, because you can right click your enemy and as soon as you grab them, throw them up and just go on with your combo from there, right? Those are the only two ways to start off that variation of the combo. I still think it's the better one if you had to choose between those two, but the one you'll usually perform will be the one triggered from any knockup for obvious reasons. However, there are issues with this combo. You can drop it when you hit them with binding arrow and they just hit the ground and they leave, or they don't leave, they'll just move slower, but they have the chance to react. So what do you do if you drop the combo when you hit them with binding arrow? Well, you just go into Ara's original combo, the very first version of it, the one where you hit them with binding arrow if after you knock them up, then you basic attack them twice like this and follow up with raining arrows. That should work just fine for you. I would rather use retaliation instead of raining arrows, mainly because they can punish you if you use raining arrows. You're exposed to them counterattacking you. I think that's it. As I said, the best variation is probably this one, the one where you can trigger it off any knockup.
Ha! Let's go! Not a chance! Now! Yeah! Ha! Yeah! Again! Ha!
Just like that. You can use retaliation as your secondary spell in the last part of the combo, if you so wish to. For example, if one of them is on cooldown, you use the other. You use the other, or if you want to back off a bit as you still perform the very end of your combo, you'd use retaliation. If you are safe and if you have enough mana, you'd use raining arrows because it deals more damage. So anyway, I think that's it. I think that covers everything. As I said, props to Ara for originally making this combo. I only took it and played around with it, see what works, see what doesn't, and this is what I ended up with. I can't say I did much besides fixing the binding arrow issue, where your enemy actually hits the ground after binding arrow. I didn't do that much this combo, so if you so wish to, just learn his variation instead. It's really good. I I think I listed the pros and cons of all of these, of all three variations of this combo. Just pick the one you like the most. If I were you, I would learn all of them and use them situationally. Anyway, I think that's it. I hope you found it useful. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you lads next time. Later.